Welcome to the Summer Footy Show, so the spring edition. My name is Chloe Dalton. I'm joined every week by permanent co-host Alicia Eva and second permanent co-host Zarlie Goldsworthy. She is back again.
Yep, we're back. More than a trend again now, so we're back for good.
More than a trend.
Well, rumour has it that you guys have already done a podcast today.
Yeah, we have.
On a different podcast platform. So,
yeah.
Dalton, what's...
Yeah, she got the call up for the Female Athlete Project.
I know. It was pretty impressive. Yeah, is it the first Giants player or?
I think it might be. Nicola Barr a couple of years ago did like a short 5-minute interview. Of course she did. A short 5 minute, but not a full length. First Giant to do a full length.
Wow.
So you text me every week asking has finally paid off.
Oh, yeah. I definitely asked. Yes.
And Will, our media guy, has said that he's going to put the link on the website with some bloopers, hopefully.
Yeah, I can get that content across. It was great. It was a great chat.
Yeah, we were just a bit rogue, but that was basically us anyway. Yeah.
That's basically us. Sums us up quite well.
Yeah.
Alicia Eva, you sound like you've had a few mad Mondays, but you've actually just recovered from the condensed fixture.
A few people have said, are you sick? And I said, the way I'm feeling right now is at the end of the season when you have a few cordial beverages on on Mad Monday and it happens to tick over onto the Tuesday and the Wednesday, and then on the Thursday you feel a bit like, ugh. That's what my voice is sounding like right now. But we've just finished our 2-week condensed fixture, 4 games in 14 days. It was, not going to lie, it was challenging in terms of not necessarily having ample time to recover. You're pretty much straight into the next game and preparing for that. So, we've brought in a special guest to dissect it a little bit further. And you might notice Zarlie isn't wearing any headsets today because the one and only Tom Reddin, the strength and conditioning guru at the Giants, has come to join us and dissect this concept of the condensed fixture.
What an honour it is to be amongst greatness here.
I thought getting Zarlie on the podcast was a pretty good get, but we have raised the bar with Tom. I feel like you've been spoken about by many people. You're very well respected.
It only cost you coffee.
Yeah,
that's all it costs. I'm a cheap date.
I think
it's a way to
he knows
amend
his value, though. You walked in and you said, am I at least getting a coffee for being here?
Yeah, he knows his worth. He's a businessman.
I respect it.
We got your coffee. And so we affectionately know you as TR. Could you just give us your official title here at the Giants?
Tom Reddin, Head of Strength and Conditioning and Sports Science for AFLW and Super Netball. And incredibly honoured to be working with the 50 female athletes that we have at the club.
50. It's a lot, actually, when you put it like that, isn't it?
It is.
You devote a lot of your time and life into the Giants.
I'm just so lucky you girls are so easy to work with. No problems at all, are you?
Never, ever.
And can I just say I'm sorry, TR, for talking about Mad Monday.
It was cordial.
Yeah, it was cordial.
Cordial. Good timing to have you here, TR. Can you give us a bit of a weigh-in from your professional perspective about how the condensed fixture went?
Yeah, I think it was interesting, wasn't it? The AFL are looking for opportunities to continue to expose the game and drive the market. And obviously with school holidays, I've got a young son who was on school holidays. They're looking to maximise the content for the viewership and try and grow the brand. From a physical perspective, it's obviously a fair bit different to your normal week-to-week rhythm. So we looked at, in pre-season in trying to make sure that we were physically prepared for the congested period of the schedule with the 4 games in 14 or 15 days, and making sure that we hit game loads equivalent to that, if not even a little bit more than that, throughout our pre-season, which we're able to do. And from a physical perspective, we're quite happy with how we've sort of managed through the period. But what you can never replicate is the emotional up and down of getting up for a performance and then, recovering from that and then trying to get up again and get down. Hard to replicate that in pre-season. So I think, that's something that we probably all underestimate in our planning. But from a physical perspective, I was excited for the challenge to try and get the group up for that. But, I think, is it something that is long-term to keep it in the competition. I guess that's for people higher up than me to sort of to make decisions on. It's really what is going to be the best for the product and the best for the players to be at their best. That's probably one of the key considerations.
How much do you have to factor in now off the back of the condensed fixture? Like, our playing group looked pretty exhausted over the past couple of weeks. How much does that then carry on into the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, we're certainly taking the opportunity tonight to freshen up a few of our players who've had the higher game loads, and then get training reps in those that haven't had the same training loads. But we'll certainly look to adjust a little bit, but then we've got another game in 6 days' time, so we'll make sure we're up and ready for that.
In the gym, you were putting to us a new proposition, which we said to you, can you come on the podcast right now? And he said yes, so he's here.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it's funny because we're obviously all discussing the congested schedule and is that a great model to go forward, or is the week to week the right model? It's an exciting part, I think, with the AFLW, that you've got the ability to maybe look at things outside the box and go, what is the best model for the competition, into the future. And I was just having a casual chat with Alicia, our Irish player, and I didn't know this, but she was saying that in Ireland, in the Women's Gaelic League, they only play every second week. So it's sort of week on game, week off game. And what that allows is that they play the game and then they have a week of review and recovery, lighter training, if you like, and then they build up for the next match. And I think, there'll be pros and cons between that and a week-to-week or even a congested schedule. But if you think about some of the potential advantages with that, I mean, straight off the bat, we know with AFLW it's quite a short season in terms of number of games. I think it's 11 this year, maybe 12 next year. If a player gets a garden variety hamstring strain, which is typically 21 days, maybe 28 if you're being a bit more conservative, that's a third of the season. Whereas in that style of model, like in the Gaelic League, you're probably missing one game. If a player gets a concussion at the moment, they're out for the mandatory 12 days, understandably. In the Gaelic model, we actually won't miss a game there. You'll be available. So you're probably going to increase player availability, which means the best players are playing more often, which means that the quality of the game itself will will definitely be higher as a result. So purely from a product perspective, you would say that would be a good thing. I think also that would bring a real event feel to every game. So we've just gone through 4 games in 15 days or whatever it was, and I'm sure the game for you guys has just gone thick and fast, and you don't know who did we play last week, When you play every second week, every game all of a sudden becomes just that much more elevated in the importance, and it's got a real event feel. So again, I think that can just heighten the the focus, the intensity, the atmosphere around the game.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one. Tia and I were discussing it last night in terms of the pros and cons, and it was, what we know for next season is we've got 12 games. Is it 12 or is it 11? Maybe 12.
I think it's 12.
Yeah, I've got to fact check that. I should know that. So it's 12 games. And the reality is it's we're now contracted for 12 months or longer, but our pre-season is 8 months of the year. So with this suggested model of TRs, we're actually
that
playing
I borrowed
games
from Gaelic football.
Oh, that TR's borrowed.
And called it Reddin's rule.
Yeah.
The Reddin method.
The Reddin method.
Reddin method.
That's why he's on here.
Yeah, oh my God. He should be a regular. With that model, we're here. We're playing games for a longer period of the year, and
we're not having to manufacture or Frankenstein competition, in and around that, are we? The AFLW competition is then, let's say, 24 weeks in length. So it is the major part of your 12-month calendar rather than a small part, and then you're trying to, like I'm talking about, manufacture other competitions to get involved with, or scrimmage series against other teams just to fill in the gaps of the calendar.
Absolutely.
The other thing, sorry, while my train of thought's running is, you get the opportunity between the games in the 2 weeks to get extra training reps into players. So for developing players, and we'd all acknowledge that AFLW as a sport is still in a sort of a more of a development stage, great opportunity to build the development of the players through those extra training sessions that a bi-weekly competition schedule cycle will allow. So again, there's pros and cons, but I think there's definitely something there to at least have a conversation about, and excited to see where things land with it.
I'd like to allow a normal co-host to have a moment to try and prove her worth to remain and not be replaced by Tom Reddin on the podcast. What are your thoughts on the
I think
fortnight?
That when he originally said it, I was absolutely not. Like, I didn't think it was a great idea. But now when I sit back and I think about it, it's actually a really good idea. And I also like the fact that we could then piggyback a bit off the men's competition. We could either have games before or after, and as you said, we'd still have games every single weekend. It'd just be 4 or 5, and that would just be so much easier to work around a men's schedule. And also thinking about the players who aren't selected, they get so much more opportunity to, in training-wise, show that. And also on the weekend, they could have scrimmage games in that middle week. And then also you'd have a week to review the game and then a week to preview the next game. So I think there are so many advantages to that now that you think about it. And to be honest, can't really see a con for it. Like, maybe the only really, it's stretching it out a little bit. Like 24 weeks is quite a long time to be on and off season. Like, but yeah, that would probably really be the only thing.
Can we hear someone's...
Is there a truck? Are we on a truck's radio?
Breaker, this is Victor Charlie.
It's also funny. See ya. We can still hear that truck radio.
That's so weird. I'm glad you could hear it because I felt like I was going a bit crazy for a second.
Talking to someone in outer space.
Why are we... Is it a rocket launching?
It sounds like it. What are we doing here?
Is this Starlink? What's old mate? Has it stopped for you now?
We're good to go.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh. I just want to piggyback off what you said, Zarles, because immediately when I heard this idea, I was like, no, I don't like it because of we want to play games every week.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the asterisk with that is that at the moment we're tied to 12 games next year. We're not getting more. We're not playing every team once. So maybe...
Someone's taking the piss out of us, aren't they? Are we getting shot at?
I'll be back.
What? I don't understand how...
It's like we're doing air traffic control at Sydney Airport.
Momentary pause.
That's so bizarre. What?
What is he watching?
You are joking.
What the? Oh my gosh.
Are you kidding me?
Please do arrest him.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, Jacob. Lucky he wasn't watching anything inappropriate. I was just saying while you went to fix the tech issue, Ned Brockman is running his last 160 Ks. It's opening up tonight, and I thought we could go out there post-training.
We actually should. That'd be great.
That'd be cool, hey?
It's amazing. He's raised over $1 million now.
Yeah, is he almost at 2 mil?
Oh.
Back to what we were actually talking about. I like the idea of having less AFLW games that have to compete for primetime spots. Okay, the Giants 3 or 5 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon slot, which, to be honest, I really quite liked the atmosphere at Henson Park on Sunday. It was a pretty good setup, but I think from a scheduling and broadcasting point of view, having half the games that you could put into more primetime spots makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm sure there's cons around overlap between the men's and the women's, and do they want to have pure separation of those two competitions, or are they happy for overlap and then potentially double headers? You know, these sorts of things could be discussed. From a facilities perspective, obviously clubs would just have to become even better than we already are at coexisting the programs at the same time and sharing staff and resources, you know, gym access, all the oval access, all those things would just have to be well planned. But I think it can happen, and I think also because AFLW players at this point in their they're not full time, you know, they're still part time. That schedule maybe is a better balance of the ability to play, still study, work alongside that whilst they're playing their sport. So, yeah, I appreciate you bashing it around as an idea and a concept, and probably won't go anywhere, but it's good to discuss ideas.
Hang on, Tia. Yeah.
It's on the podcast.
It's on the potty now. You never know where this could go.
This is the start of something big. Are you happy to stay and chat for the last few minutes with
Sure.
us? Have we got a player from the weekend? A Giants player of the weekend?
Maddie Brasendale.
Braz.
What a
Very
goal.
good,
What a
Braz.
goal.
It was a great goal on the run, wasn't
Great
it?
goal. One of her best games to play.
Yeah, she was
Tackling,
everywhere. Yeah, she was very
everywhere.
good on the weekend.
Yep.
Beck Beeson, I thought, was also very
yeah,
good.
inside
Yeah.
against the likes of Hatcher and Marinoff, who are just
Just a
superstars.
world-class midfield, aren't they?
Oh my gosh, it's like one of those moments again when I was going up on some of them, and it's like, oh, you just got to look up at them, like they're just so, they play with a presence, and yeah, she was going head to head with them and did a great job.
Oh, I've picked those two as well. And I think there was a Zarlie Goldsworthy moment that I loved. There was a chase down tackle that I thought was a highlight of the game. Tia, do you have a player of the round or a moment or?
Those players you mentioned obviously all had really strong games. I'm always a little bit biased towards girls that I've worked with in rehab. So I thought Gaff had one of her best games for the club. I thought, she saw ball, got ball, and exploded out of contest a number of times. So, her first season back from her ACL, I think she's going really well.
Actually, while we've got you, can we do a quick little rehab?
Oh,
Sure.
that's a
check
great
in?
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, well, we're hopeful to have 27 of our 31 players in training on Thursday. So, touch wood, we're tracking pretty good. We should have Newey back this week available, hopefully Bradders as well, Indy and Cambo next week. They still need to get through a bit more training to be available. So we've got Dalton obviously starting with her gym work, which is exciting. And then Bari has started back in the gym. Daisy, is continuing in her rehab. I think she just hit the 3-month mark of her ACL rehab. So she's got through the first quarter of it. And then Caitlin Surhoy hurt her knee on the weekend. It's not an ACL, so that's always a plus. But I think the medical staff will release the information about that. But it's not an ACL, so that's a plus. But it may be that she might not play any more games for this particular season because there's only the 3 weeks left for us.
It's gone quick, that back end, hasn't it?
I know. Honestly, it's felt like ever since the condensed fixture that the season is just, there's no end in sight, or it almost feels like it's already over. Just having games, even AFLW games every single night, it's almost like I'm all footied out.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of
Yeah,
footy.
well, again, not to harbour the
overwhelming.
point, but if you space the games out, there's the ability to almost savour the games rather than bang, 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 bang. And I think that's something that they've learned in the WBBL cricket space. So a few years ago it was going gangbusters and they think, great, we've got to have more games. But it actually diluted the product, diluted the public's appetite for it. And they've actually now reverted back to less games so that you can get, you can do more with less or get more from less.
On that topic, how much do you look into other sports for what you are doing in footy and netball?
Always. I think particularly in physical preparation, you're always looking around for concepts or ideas that you can steal and borrow. Coaches are always that's right, like the Gaelic football. As a coach, you're always looking around for ideas that you can put in your back pocket and take with you. So, in the last few weeks, I've gone to the Western Sydney Wanderers and watched their training in the A-League, and then also before the season finished in the NRL, the Sydney Rabbitohs went and spent a day with them. So they were really welcoming to me, and I was very fortunate to watch and learn and see how they went about things.
Love that. I put this question to Zarlie earlier today on the TFAP podcast, or would you rather? So I'm going to put it to you too. It's a bit of story time. So Riley and I went recently to the Hunter Valley for a friend's wedding, arrived quite late at night. It was like 9:30 at night, and we're unpacking the suitcase, and she'd forgotten to pack the toothpaste. She was in charge of toiletries. I had another section. She forgot to pack the toothpaste, and we looked up. All the supermarkets were closed. We were in the middle of nowhere. So we had to brush our teeth with a toothbrush but no toothpaste. Would you rather do that for the rest of your life, or when you stay at someone's house and you've got to use their toothpaste and brush your teeth with your finger and toothpaste?
So finger and toothpaste, or toothbrush and no toothpaste?
Yes, for the rest of your life.
You could be judged quite heavily here.
I reckon I'm going toothbrush.
Yeah, that's what we said. What are you, Alicia?
Oh, she's feeling the peer pressure
Here
now.
we go.
I mean, Tia, you drink a lot of coffee.
Oh,
So I could brush my teeth with that, you think?
No,
Or
you probably need toothbrush. I mean, you probably need toothpaste.
they'll
You
look
don't
golden brown.
am I allowed to have chewing gum?
Yeah,
Right,
I
there you
said
go.
this to Zarlie. So I had minty gum. I chewed it and then put it in the bin and then brushed the teeth with the plain toothbrush. At least it didn't have like the furry feeling,
Yeah.
but it wasn't great.
Look, I've been married 14 years. My wife doesn't kiss me anymore. So it doesn't matter.
That's the snippet. That's the
That's
promo.
the snippet. That is the snippet. I love that. Based on your performance today, TR, I might actually need to ask you to be my. I'm done from next week. I got a baby on the way, so I'm probably not going to be here.
Very
next
exciting.
Week. So we might have just found my
Very
replacement
exciting.
co-host.
Was that also a soft launch or
of the baby?
Yeah.
It's happened. It's live in the world.
You heard it here first.
Exclusive to the Giants podcast.
That's the snippet.
That's
That is
it.
the snippet.
We'll zoom you in, won't we?
Yeah, surely from the hospital. Great.
We'll set up a little tripod stand for you.
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
Set up a little bassinet in the corner.
Oh my gosh, cute. I saw Toby when his baby was just born. He went and did a radio interview. I thought it was quite a good look for Toby. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and he had
In the carrier?
Yeah, little Isla on his.
Yeah,
that's
and I
right.
thought like it was clever from. I don't think it was a strategic thing, but I was like, nice, Toby. That's a good look. You know,
It's a
approachable Toby.
Good touch.
And congrats. I think did I say there was an engagement yesterday?
yes.
Oh yeah,
George and Toby, congrats
yeah.
on the
Congratulations.
That time.
You're going to tell him that? Giants were taking on the Hawks this weekend, Saturday, at
Frankston Kinetic Stadium.
One.
Oh.
3.
105.
105.
Nice. Glad to have you here, TR. Thanks.
Regular
PM.
guest.
Yeah, PM.
1:05 p.m. See you there, Giant supporters. We loved your support last time. And all the best to you and Riley next week if we don't see you before then.
Thanks so much.
It'll be pretty exciting to have a little baby giant.
Crazy.
running around.
Baby
Soon.
giant. How good. See you next week. Well, bye.
Bye.
Go Giants.